Yartzeit. So it's Rosh Chodesh Teves. It's Chanukah, Rosh Chodesh. It's also the Yartzeit of my holy ancestor, the Chavos Yair. So Chusik Aleinu Malchus Omein. He was the Rav in Vermiza, in Worms. Before that, he was Rav a few years in Kabbalah, the cities in Germany, of course. He came originally from what's now the Czech Republic, and he was an Einikel from the Maralma, Prague. And the Heilige Gezeide, the Chavos Yair, is a Chusik and Aleinu Malchus. I was, looking up, I saw a Wikipedia article in Hebrew, and it said that he opposed the study of Kabbalah. So I wanted to look at it cited a tshuva, Reish Yud, in the Chavos Yair, where someone was asking him about, should one learn Kabbalah? I didn't look at the whole tshuva, it's a very long tshuva, but I read about the first half of it, and then I read the last paragraph. And he was discussing back and forth, and it's beautifully tremendous Musar Haskel in the way he approaches this question. With tremendous humility and tremendous respect and recognition of the holiness of Kabbalah. So a lot of people, they just think, oh, what's this? Oh, we don't need it, And it's fascinating how he goes through it. One thing he says, he compares it to living in Eretz Yisrael. He said nobody denies the holiness of Eretz Yisrael. How most of the mitzvahs of the Torah are only able to fill in Eretz Yisrael, even if there's no mitzvah of Yishuv Eretz Yisrael, according to the different Mania mitzvahs. But all these other mitzvahs are dependent on being in Eretz Yisrael. So you see the godless and the cheshivas of Eretz Yisrael. However, Chavos Yair points out, on the other hand, he brings from the Tosfos, there are tremendous dangers in going to Eretz Yisrael. It's a very dangerous trip, especially in those days. It was a dangerous voyage. His own grandmother, who we named the Sefer, his Baba Chava, she died on her way to Eretz Yisrael because of the sekanas of going to Eretz Yisrael. And so it's a very difficult thing. And not only that, but he said, if you don't have parnasa and you're not used to the difficulties of the life there, you're a person who was used to luxuries and stuff, it's going to turn you off from Yiddishkeit, and if not you, your children. And so he says it's very dangerous. Not only that, but Eretz Yisrael, just like there are a lot of mitzvahs connected to Eretz Yisrael, those mitzvahs include many isurim. So just as much as there are mitzvahs that you are able to fulfill in Eretz Yisrael, there are sins that you can only do in Eretz Yisrael that you can't do anywhere else, or connected to Eretz Yisrael. Meaning, yes, a mitzvah to take trumas and maasros that you have in Eretz Yisrael, but what if you do it wrong? Then we in Chutz La'aretz we always hear, what's kosher is fruits and vegetables are kosher, of course, but not in Eretz Yisrael. If it's tevel, you don't take trumas and maasros. Tevel, demai, it's not kosher. You have to know what you're doing. And now now we have a problem that fruit and vegetables, they come from Eretz Yisrael, and we don't know that they take trumas and maasros. You have to know what you're doing. I remember I used to work in ShopRite, and I would tell people, be careful, you're buying these carrots, the Dorot carrots, you have to take trumas and maasros, because they didn't take trumas and maasros. It comes from Eretz Yisrael. You have to know what you're doing. It's nishkat spiel. And so he said, so it's not only a physical danger to go to Eretz Yisrael, but a spiritual danger. Because, the same thing, Shemitah. how easy it is to break Shemitah. If you don't know the halachas, why get yourself into this? Why, if you don't have to do it? Why? We have enough what to do now. It reminds me like, someone asked my Rebbe from high school, Moshe Weinberg, in high school, they asked him about a particular thing. I'm not going to say what it is because there's so much politics, but a certain mitzvah in the Torah, and it was not available to us for a long time, and there are claims now that it's been restored. And even many Ehrliche Yidden, even Chassidish Yidden, do this. And he said, if you're this type of chassid, that this Rebbe said that this is this thing, whatever it is, I think people understand what I'm talking about already. So then you do it, fine. And even another type of chassidim, they also do it because they have their inyanim. But Stam, he said, are you holding with all these other things before you do something that a lot of people don't do? I mean, where are you holding? What are you doing? It's like they say someone came to Rav Scheinberg, I remember him still, big tzaddik, and the story goes to his Eid, he wanted to wear tefillin all day, and everyone was telling him, don't do it. So he said, none of you guys wear tefillin all day. I have to go to somebody who wears tefillin all day, and I'm going to ask him. I'll go to Rav Scheinberg. He wears tefillin all day. Rav Scheinberg held him by the lapels and said, just be normal. It's such a thing. There's such an Indian. Now, Chavos Yair was very respectful in the whole Indian of Kabbalah. And he said, he went on for many paragraphs of the chashivas of the Chochmas of Kabbalah and the depth, but also he recognized that there's a danger in it. That if someone goes the wrong way, they can very easily find danger, both materially and spiritually. And so there has to be balance. And so in the end, he discusses it, and he brings from the Rambam and so forth, and he says, and he says, you have to be, it's a big, very chashuv thing, but you have to be already filled with bread and meat before you eat dessert. That's the first thing. But he said, but for most people, we're not holding there. Most people, we have enough trouble, with Shas and Poskim, and we're going to get into Chachmas HaKabbalah. But he said in the end, he said we shouldn't be delving deep into Kabbalah, but we should be learning the Zohar. Meaning, what we call now limud Kabbalah, Bizman Hazeh, for most people, he had no problem with. But he's talking about, you look a little bit at the Kavanas Rashash, things like that are beyond our comprehension. It's a cheshivas to look at it and to understand that such a thing exists. But to really delve into it, for the average person, they don't understand what it is. And also, he said that when it comes to true Chachmas Kabbalah, it has to be ish mipi ish. He said, like the Talmidim of Moshe Cordovero, they had who to learn from, he said. Who do we have to learn from? Who do we have to be makabel the Kabbalah from? The Kabbalah means that you're makabel something. You receive something. You need someone you received it from. You can't just, it's not hefker. You talk to someone like Rabbi Bar Tzedok, he really knows what he's talking about when it comes to Chochmas HaKabbalah. And he tells us, it's not what you think it is. People think they're going to sit and meditate on the Kavanas Rashash, and they're going to sit there, and the Chassidim around them, they're going to sing the Gunim, while the Rebbe's there with Chochmas Rashash. I only know one or two Rebbe's who are doing this. And they're big tzaddikim, and I don't forgive them this. But the thing is that what he points out is we have to understand is that Every one of those oisius and everything you see in the Kvanas Rashash, in addition to the fact that not everything is kpshute, but it brings underlining ideas of philosophy and psychology and emotions. It's not just looking at a piece of paper and looking at the shemus and thinking what they sound like, and maybe even thinking about, well, this with this nakudas it corresponds to this sphere and that sphere. It's something that's much, much deeper, and I think most people are moida. It's not for the Hamanam, We're talking about like the Mishnah in Chagiga talks about Ma'aser Merkava, Ma'aser Bereshis. It's not something for the Hamanam. It's something for only Chidis Gula. It's not to say we shouldn't. However, one thing is that we have to have respect for it. Just because we don't learn it doesn't mean we should be disrespectful. And there's a big machla we see Bizman Hazeh of these anti-Kabbalah crusaders, very dear friends of mine who I love dearly. And not just one who might be more famous. I have several. And I know other friends of mine, they disowned them over this. And I was like, no. Because the fact of the matter is, to a certain extent, they're getting to things that we're missing. But on the other hand, there's a big danger in Kabbalah. We saw what happened to Shabsai Tzviyim. We saw what happened, even, all these various cults that develop around Kabbalah. It's very, very dangerous. And so, it's not so pashut. However, even after all of this discussion, which was all very respectful, not like you hear today, people say, we should skip over Baruch Shemay because it comes from the Zohar, and there's the Zohar Mezuyif, and all these things, and all these questions. That wasn't his approach. He said we should learn the Zohar and get the Musar and the inspiration that we get from it, but in a simple way, not in the deep Kabbalistic way, but in a simple way. You could open, whether it's the Mosik Midvash. I remember the Mosik Midvash. I used to eat in his house, Reb Daniel Frisch, Zechusi Galeno. It's a big tzaddik. Or if you like better, the Sulam, whatever it is. It's a simple pashut thing, to learn the Chok every day, and the Shtickl Zohar that's in the Chok L'Yisrael. Nothing wrong with that. And the fact of the matter is, even you talk to certain people who understand and who have studied the Zohar, and maybe some of those people deny the authorship of the Zohar. However, they say it's still important to study because of it has a place in Klal Yisrael. I personally believe that there's authenticity, that it comes from the Tanoim, at least in its source. It's likely that things were added later, al derech perish, in a similar way of how, we have perushim on the sides. The perushim of the Zohar were incorporated into the Zohar itself, into the text, and that's why you find things that seemed to be, anachronistic and so forth. Those things are obviously added later. The anachronisms, well, they're few and far between. But those are al derech perush. They were perushim on the Zohar that were incorporated into the text. But the point is it doesn't matter who wrote the Zohar, because the Zohar is so beautiful and has so much deep musar and inspiration. That's good. Now, doesn't mean you sit the whole day learning Zohar. Chas v'shalom. The whole day should be dedicated to Shas and Poskim. It's clear from the Zohar like that. But set aside a few minutes to learn the Zohar Kodesh. It's nicht schlecht. It's ganz good. It's it is what they're supposed to be doing. Said lav davka every day, even if you don't accept that it comes from the Tanoim, which I do personally. Doesn't matter. You can get so much out of it. It's kedai. I remember, there was a Yid when I was Rav in Richmond. Choshev Balabas, he finished through the Daf Yomi 2 or 3 times. Finished Shas. A Balshuva, an older man, a scientist, and he said now he wanted to learn Yerushalmi, and he asked I should sit with him, learn with him Yerushalmi. And we were learning Pei. I couldn't hold cup, and I said, Dr. So-and-so, we should be learning Zohar before we're learning, because more people learning Zohar than are learning the Yerushalmi. Nobody learns Yerushalmi, I try to open up the Yerushalmi every night, read a few lines, just to also have a sheikhus to Yerushalmi. There's a cheshivas with that as well, but these were very difficult. Sometimes Yerushalmi, you can get a lot more out of it. So it depends, where it is. Same thing. But I said it makes more sense to be learning. First of all, even the lashon is easier. It's very difficult. Lashon, yeah. I'm learning now brachas in Yerushalmi. It's a little bit easier because it's more agada to things. It's very beautiful, but the point what I'm saying is that so he says Haltzich is a yeker, this Yid, he's a yeker, and we don't learn it. The Chavos Yair was a yeker. He was from Germany, and the Shloh Kodesh was from Germany. This type of total cutting off from the Zohar Kodesh, there's nothing German about that. And the truth is, when you learn Rav Shamshon Full Hersh, it is clear that his ideology came from Kabbalistic sources. It's but it's a practicality in it, which is, of course, well known to be very Hirschian. Meaning, like Rabbi Bar Tzadok says, there's some people that are so heavenly minded they're no earthly good. You can't be just like, I'm flying away somewhere in the sky. No, you got to be here on earth. And that's what you get from the Musar, from the Zohar, is something that's very practical. It's a practical type of inspiration that you can use. It's not like, it's here and now. It doesn't mean you have to take everything literally. It doesn't mean you have to take everything at face value. It doesn't mean you have to be Kabbalah everything that's there. But there's nothing wrong with setting aside some time. And like I said, the Zohar that's in the Chok Yisrael, that's a good, normal thing for anybody to sit and learn. But not all day. Here and there, a little bit, doesn't even have to be every day. Although, it seems from, the area Kodesh, the Chok Yisrael, it should be every day. We should have Zohar every day, but it's Bizman Hazeh, it's a different Kufa. But and you should learn it every day. But I'm saying, but just a few lines, or like the Rebbe Melech says when it comes to Kisviari, every now and then, a few lines with trepidation and trembling, Ema, Bezeya, not the way people, not in a cold scholarly way like a Gershom Shalom, and not in a cultish way like Berg, and not in a popular way like Berg. In devoted way, with precious kedushin tahara mussar haskel, aim of zeya and tshuva, thinking about what you've done wrong and being mahar b'tshuva, and then you're zeicha to these things. But ma'at mizer, it can't be the whole day. And Chasidus also can't be the whole day. The thing is, the Chassidish Sfarim are good at bringing these sublime ideas to us here, to simple people like you and me. But also, it's a ta'us gadol, just such a tremendous mistake that there are yeshivas, and one group in particular, where they sit and learn Chasidus for hours and hours and hours. It's not the way. That's not the derech. The derech has to be Shas and Poskim, and then a little bit of Tanakh, a little bit of Kabbalah, a little bit of Chasidus, a little bit of Musar, in a healthy, normal way. But that little bit of Musar and Chasidus and Kabbalah goes a long way, because it's the medicine you need, meaning that's what's going to give you the chizik that you can be matzliach in the Shas and Poskim, and also be matzliach in the world. When you go out, you go to work. But everybody could do the Chok Yisrael. A balabas can do the Chok Yisrael, and a Talmid Chacham can do the Chok Yisrael. A lot of people think it's like, it's like Tai Chi, it's like something old people do, But no, it's good to have it. It's excellent apps on the phone with the Chok. You can, if you have these phones, it's a gewaldige thing. And now they even there's a website, eChok, that has the whole Chok in English, except the Zohar. The Zohar they don't have in English. So you can read the Aramaic, and you can find where it is. You can find it in English somewhere else, but they're not really any good English translations of the Zohar Kodesh, but there should be. There really should be a Hamish Ehrlich translation of the Zohar Kodesh, and not a cultish one, or a scholarly one, which unfortunately we have now, that are very poorly done. And that's why it's Kedai that you should learn how to learn inside, learn Lashon HaKodesh. It's a big schus that we had a Yid like Reb Daniel Frisch, who was zeicha to make the Masuk Midrash, to make these things accessible to you and me. And it was a big schus that I had to be in his house many times, eating Shabbos meals by Reb Daniel. It was a big schus. So anyway, this is the message I want to bring out on the Yartzeit of my Heilige Zayd and my holy ancestor, the Chavos Yair, Zechusi Yagalein Kol Samein. And it's something we should be makabel on ourselves. One, not to be disrespectful against Kabbalah, and two, to recognize that even the Hamonam, and for sure any Talmid Chacham, can set aside a few minutes every now and then to look at the Zohar Kodesh and get a little bit of chizik, get a little bit of inspiration, get a little bit of musar, and bring that into their lives. And when people say not to learn Kabbalah till you're 40 and to this and that and all these things, this is not what it's talking about. It's not talking about what we have that is for the average person. There are many things that are not for the average person, not for me either, not for you, not for very few people are zeicha to these very big things. It's important to be aware of them. It's important to be cognizant of them and to be respectful of them. But the Zohar, it's okay, but it has to. But again, also has to be ma'at mizer. Don't go overboard. Don't lose your head. Excuse me. Thank you for watching. A Freilich and Chanukah, Guten Chodesh. And we should be zeicher to tremendous hashpos. Thank you for watching. And the schus of Mahelig Zayda, Rabbi Yochaim, Rabbi Moshe Shimshon, Bakarak. We should all be zeicher to a tremendous, and it's the Yartzeit from my Shver, it's the Yartzeit from Avraham Avinu, according to many. So I have a Zayda and the Shver, the Yartzeit, and also a Zayda, of course, Avraham Avinu. So we should be zeicher to all the big ashpos, and to find happiness in our lives, balance, and normalcy, humility, not to be extremists and not to be a weirdo, just to be normal and to have God with us in our lives. And in this way, we're zeicher to tremendous things. I thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe, comment, and all the best of Freilich and Chanukah.